the insightful testimony of all of our witnesses. I want to make an initial observation. I wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Goodman's observation that sound, smart foreign policy involves economic statecraft, involves economic engagement, and there is a narrative, I think, communicated by some, that the America First strategy of the current administration is disengagement, and that allows China to fill a vacuum. I actually see it the opposite way. As Secretary Bessent rightly pointed out, America First is not America alone. And while the tariff strategy has created some uncertainties and turbulence, what it has done is actually deepened engagement, not disengagement, but deepened negotiations with partners, allies, and adversaries like China to actually get us to a point where there is more American leadership and engagement in the world on the economic front. I think this has the enormous potential to achieve greater, more bilateral, more reciprocal trade deals that give American exporters more market access and therefore more leverage and economic influence in the world. And look just to yesterday to see the $600 billion commitment from Saudi Arabia of more foreign direct investment in the United States, to see that there is massive economic engagement like we've never seen with this America First strategy. Let me ask Dr. Norris a question about what Mr. Goodman says is smart economic statecraft. In February, President Trump issued a national security memorandum entitled America First Investment Policy, directing federal agencies to address outbound investments into China. I think this is smart economic statecraft. I think it's very smart to stop financing Chinese military-industrial complex companies. I also would say, though, I very much appreciate, Dr. Norris, your pointing out that we should not try to fight the American private sector, that our national power ultimately derives from U.S. economic growth and innovation, and so we need to be careful about mimicking Chinese industrial policy. We should counter China not by becoming more like China, but by being the best version of ourselves. Our advantage, I always say, is that we're capitalists and they're communists. And so they misallocate capital, and their industrial mercantilist policy is not what we want to emulate. So can you speak about what is the right way to screen and stop investments and capital flows into China that threaten our national security, while at the same time adhering to our free market cross-border capital flow ethos?
So I think this idea of outbound investments is an important topic. I think that you're exactly right when you say we need to do us better and not try to copy what they're doing or try to mimic exactly what they're doing. The way I think about this is these kinds of investment flows are going to generate things that matter for national security. So what can we do better on this? We have to be specific and precise in saying, here's why this is bad for national security. It doesn't be public, but somebody needs to know. They need to be able to do that analysis. And then they need to be able to have mechanisms that allows us to put a stop to that kind of behavior, because it is going to be detrimental to U.S. national security. I think this dovetails with something that Ranking Member Barr also talked about in terms of the key to U.S. success for most of the 20th century was that we found a system that was able to have other countries' pursuit of their self-interests redound to America's best interests. That's the secret sauce. That's what we are after today, I think. As we start thinking about strategies and ways to design systems, we want to capture and harness these naturally occurring incentive structures. So companies want to make money. They want to manage to quarterly profits. That's a feature, not a bug, in my opinion. But you also have the importance of long-term capital. Warren Buffett has achieved a lot of success with a very long-term vision. There's a space for that, but we have to be smart about harnessing these incentives. That's where the policymakers come into play. That's our jobs. We have to think creatively, and we have to think about what are those incentives. If everybody looks out for their best interests, what's going to be the macro result of that? And that's kind of the framework that I'm trying to suggest to you all, is as you think about these security externalities, that's the thing that's not going to be endogenized into the transaction.
I wanted to talk about DFC as an important tool for economic statecraft. I don't have time. Let me just ask this final simple question. Dr. Norris, can you speak to the importance of fiscal responsibility and lowering our deficits to protect strong demand for U.S. Treasury securities and the dollar's dominance? And why is that important to national security?
Yeah, as all of you will appreciate, the U.S. serving as the world's reserve currency gives us a lot of privileges. We're unique in this regard. The United States is a $30 trillion economy, and we as government stewards of public capital always have to think about being prudent with how we allocate and use those resources. In my opinion, our real strength resides in the private sector, and what we have to do is find a way to harness those proclivities and naturally occurring tendencies to redound to the national security interest.
My time has expired. Growth, growth, growth. Thank you very much. And at this point, I recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Castro, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you all, each of you, for your expertise and testimony today. We started the year as the most powerful, most prosperous nation on earth.